Just at the melody of wicked and rhyme. I praise the rulers as they shine. I bow before you as I travel my path. To join the ranks, I'll make my full-time task. For the sake of
YouTube. To this point, I haven't really made many videos regarding Buddhism, which is kind of funny considering my first foray into the world of YouTube was in response to some rather ignorant comments made by the Amazing Atheist regarding Buddhism. It's what caught my eye, led me to respond, and now I've got an account making videos, and it's time to make one about Buddhism. I'd like to preface this and all future videos on Buddhism that I do make with the understanding I'm not here to proselytize. I'm not here to make you become a Buddhist. I don't want to, that's not my thing. I'm not here to convert you. I'm here to share. Buddhism and anarchism, to me, are a very important part of my life. And hopefully you'll gain something from that. But I want you to take whatever you get out of me and put it, do with it as you will. I'm not here to make you a Buddhist. I'm not here to make you an anarchist. But I am here to hopefully get you to think about things just a little differently, in a new perspective, to maybe widen your horizons. Maybe hear something you've never heard before. Think about something in a way you've never thought about it before. If I can do that, then I've succeeded. If you want to look into Buddhism more, or anarchism more, or just get more socially involved in your neighborhood, then I've succeeded. I just want to make it clear I'm not here to convert you. With that out of the way, what I want to do today is I'm going to share a little talk by my teacher, Thanissaro Bhikkhu. He is one of the foremost Western monks in the country. He is the abbot of the Metaforest Monastery in the mountains of San Diego. He's been a monk since 72, I believe. And you can find more of his teachings, or not really his teachings so much as, well, there is teachings, but a lot of translations from the Buddhist canon, which is called the Pali Canon, and essays, different things like that, at Insight, access to insight.org. I'm going to give you a brief, maybe 3 minutes from a talk that he gave during a meditation session at the Metaforest Monastery. And it deals with something that always comes up whenever we talk about Buddhism, or I talk about Buddhism with others, non-Buddhists. It's always a very speculative conversation. It gets into rebirth and karma, and and what do you think about this, and if you killed 10 guys, but they were going to try to kill 11 guys, and how would the karma work out? Who created the universe? All the very speculative questions that people rightfully have. I think what's perhaps most misunderstood about Buddhism is it's not so much a speculative religion. Whereas say a Christianity, for example, there is very much a focus on speculating. How do we get to heaven? what's heaven like, etc., etc. It's not that those things, the afterlife and what happens when we die, it's not that those things aren't addressed in Buddhism. I don't want to make that point or, try to color it that way. It's not that it's missing. It's not like it's some factor that's not there. But it's not given the amount of energy or effort or time within a Buddhist framework. And the Buddha himself was quite reluctant to engage in these conversations. The nature of the soul, do we have a soul, are there gods, numerous things that you can, I'm sure your mind's working already, that you could find a million questions you could think of. The Buddha, as you'll hear in this talk, was foremost concerned with helping us develop skillful qualities. Very down-to-earth things that aren't very metaphysical, that are not philosophical. How do you develop skillful qualities to deal with others, to deal with yourself, to deal with the problems you encounter in life? It's a very grounded religion, and it's very based in reality.
That's what insight is, and that's how it shows its benefits. And teaching you to fashion things in a new way, a better way, so that your participation in shaping your experience, your participation in the world all around you, gets more and more skillful. If it didn't show itself in these ways, then the insight wouldn't really be worth much. There are lots of teachings about emptiness and inconstancy or impermanence that are wide of the mark, and it's nice to know, and it's interesting to reflect on these things and speculate about them, but if they don't make any difference in what you're actually doing from moment to moment, they're pretty useless. This is why the Buddha avoided so many issues that everybody else in his time was worked up about. Is the body the same as the life force? Is the body different from the life force? Is the world eternal? Is it not eternal? Is it finite? Is it infinite? When a person reaches the end of the path, does that person exist, not exist, both, neither? These are questions that were the hot issues, the hot philosophical issues of the day, and the Buddha refused to answer those questions, get involved in them at all, because they didn't make any difference in this one issue of what are you doing that's skillful and unskillful. And can you learn to be more skillful than you are? A layperson who was a student of the Buddhist was approached one time by someone who asked just these questions. What does your teacher teach? Does he teach that the world is finite or infinite? And the person said, well, no. Eternal, not eternal. Well, he doesn't address that issue either. So on down the list. And the person complained, well, your teacher doesn't seem to teach anything at all. And the person said, no, that's not the case. He teaches what's skillful and what's unskillful. Remember that, the most basic issue that the Buddha does address, and he addresses that issue in a lot of detail. If meditating were simply an issue of trying to get very still in the present moment, how do you think all those Dharma teachings would have been developed? All this, what they call the 84,000 divisions of the Dharma in the canon. They came from someone who was really focused on the issue of skill and lack of skill, and trying to develop more skillful ways of approaching everything in life. This is how your daily practice intersects with your meditation practice. Just try to be more skillful in what you say, be more skillful in what you do. Develop that habit of being very clear about what your intentions are, clear about what your actions are, and about the results. When you develop that attitude, and then as you bring it into the meditation, you start seeing things in your meditation that you didn't see before.